Ladies and gents, look at the size of this thing. R18 from BMW. I picked this one up from Lind BMW in Welwyn Garden City. We're going to take it out for a ride. First negative, I guess, already. That filler cap, let me just open it up, I'll show you what I mean. You can't really get the filler in there. Just slightly annoying, but all keyless. Bring her to life. You ready for this? This thing is like an R19 on steroids. 1800 cc's, 90 horsepower. I think it's 157 newton meters of torque or something absolutely crazy. There are 3 modes on this. You've got rock, roll and rain. Rock is your sort of sports mode, roll is your like road mode kind of thing, and rain is obviously a rain mode. This is essentially BMW taking a very targeted shot at Harley Davidson. Everything about this bike is very Harley. The specs, the riding position, the power, the torque, the looks. I need to be careful, the guy at BMW said you scrape the pegs very easily. Position wise, very much your feet are at a right angle. My arms they're stretched out, but they're not too far, which is nice. I mean, it's just a bit of a spectacle to ride, isn't it? It's absolutely enormous. It's 345 kilograms, I think. So if you're relatively feeble, maybe not the bike for you. Like a lot of bikes, it loses its weight very quickly. When you're riding it normally like this, it's actually very calm. It's way more sedate than I thought it would be. What you can see on the GS and on the R9T, or essentially anything with a boxer, is these the cylinder heads are not level. So let me show you what I mean. So if I look at that, you can see that the right cylinder head is further back than the left. Nothing that would annoy you too much, but it's just something I noticed. Look at this. It has got rider modes. Like I said, it's got the rain, rock and roll. This one's got heated grips, which is beautiful because it's about 5 degrees today. There's no fuel gauge, there's no cruise control. In the screen, just while we're in this traffic here, you've got your mileage, your average miles per hour, battery voltage, your date, your average MPG, your instant MPG, time, RPM, and then you're back to your odometer. You have got a gear indicator, which is nice, and you've got a little thing that says your rider mode. Straight up, I'm not a massive fan of all the chrome. I've never been one for chrome. There's already like a custom scene growing for this, so I'll put a picture on screen. But Pier City Customs are I mean, they're known for sort of BMWs and whatnot. They do quite a lot on the R9Ts. They have just made a custom one of these, which is blue. Everything is blacked out. It looks really good. It's very BMW in the way that all the switchgear is very familiar. The switchgear does exactly what you think it's going to do. It's very easy to get used to, and easy to sort of act like you've been riding it for years. I do quite like the little bits on it, like even just on this tack here, it just says Berlin built, which I just think is stuff like that's quite a nice little touch. It's got full LED headlights. It doesn't look like a cheap bike by any means. Do you know what? It just steers in very easy. I feel like I'm going to scrape the pegs there. There is so much grunt there giving you a shove. The brakes aren't amazing on the front. I mean, they probably are really good brakes, but they're trying to stop 350 odd kilos of bike plus 90 odd kilos of me. They're probably quite good, but there's just got a lot of weight to bring to a stop. They do work, but just not incredibly well. The gearbox is actually really good. It's quite smooth, very easy to find neutral as well. The only thing that isn't amazingly easy to do is find first gear. If you didn't have the gear indicator, you wouldn't know you were in first, that kind of thing, if that makes sense. I think there could be a few little bits that could be tidied up, like this this wire here that goes into the indicators, not exactly incredibly tidy. Everything I love about the R9T is just turned up to 11 on this. Obviously this is way more cruiser than the R9T is. I'm going to have to do a comparison versus a Harley of something very similar. Obviously I've ridden the FXDR, obviously I've ridden the Fat Bob and stuff like that, which are slightly like smaller. I mean, the FXDR wasn't far off this. And one of the questions, which was probably in the title of this as well, is do BMW make a better Harley than Harley? And I don't think so. It's almost like the Pan America took a aimed shot at the GS's crown, and then in return BMW took a shot at Harley's crown. That's literally what it feels like to me. I'm 5'9" and I've got a bend in my leg. Like, it's almost like a 90-degree bend in my leg. If you're worried about height, I wouldn't worry about that. If you're worried about weight, maybe something to worry about. This thing is awesome. Even just going through this town, it is very balanced. I don't feel like I'm struggling to keep it up, or struggling to keep it up. I don't feel like I'm struggling to keep it on its wheels kind of thing. I don't feel like it's going to fall over at all. So we're not far off lunchtime, so let's see if we can filter on this thing, shall we? Massive wide 345 kilo bike, and it's going through traffic easily. To be fair, the handlebars are almost, I think the handlebars are basically as wide as the cylinder heads, so if your handlebars get through, you'll get through. This is uphill, doing 40 mile an hour in second gear, and we're going to give it a bit of a wow. Right, national restriction road, which is 70. Oh! That just felt like I was doing 150 mile an hour. Yeah, I think the only negative for me so far, the seat vibrates so much, or the whole bike vibrates, but let's be honest, but it seems like it's coming through the seat more than anything. You don't ride this for like long distance comfort or anything, so if you're doing B-road blast on this thing, what does it matter? Oh wow. Oh, that was the pegs. To be fair, when you're accelerating, there's not really a lot of vibration. It's when you roll off and you're doing the higher revs is when it vibrates. Let's see what it's got overtaking per OS. So we're doing third gear. Oh yeah, that just overtakes like it's not even trying. Sorry, this is a bit of a crap review, isn't it? Oh, I mean, this is what this bike's for, is it not? I literally have tears coming out of my eyes. Oh. If you ever feel like you're going to drop this to the right, just rev the engine. I'll show you what I mean, look. Oh no, I'm going to drop it to the right. It just picks itself up for you. So in the dash, just in these lights that are turned off, it looks like there is an option for cruise, and there's also an option for like fog lights and stuff. There's obviously an option for cruise and fog lights and whatever in the other sort of styles that they do in this. So they've got the one with a big fairing and stuff like that. The front brakes are BMW branded, so they're not Brembos or anything. But yeah, like I said, they're trying to stop 345 kilos plus rider. I have to say, for the amount that it does shake about, the mirrors are pretty good. They only seem to shake a lot when you're properly going for it. Around town they seem fine. The other thing that's really good about this bike is that it's shaft drive. It's got an exposed shaft. I'll see if I can put in a video or something, but that's just like quite a nice little additional feature. So doing sort of 35 mile an hour in third gear, it barely feels like it's moving at all. There's no vibration. It's actually quite a nice place to sit. It only vibrates once you're properly going for it. I suppose it's the engine balancing really, isn't it? So you've got two massive pistons punching sideways, so that's why, even once you're past the original sort of novelty factor of this bike, it rides pretty well, you know. Where's my modes? Oh, they're right there, the big button that says mode on it, Sam, you moron. So if we go into roll, yeah, the throttle is just a lot less reactive. It's not the most refined bike by any means. It's not the most powerful, it's not the most, it doesn't handle the best, but like, I've laughed more on this ride than I have on a lot of bikes. This thing I'm doing 15 mile an hour and laughing like a schoolgirl. I've got the heated grips on as well, and they're actually really good. Don't get me wrong, it's not as special as some of the Harleys. Some of the Harleys are absolutely hilarious to ride, like almost unbeatable to ride as an experience. I mean, I know some people are going to be against that, but I don't really care. But this is very close. The thing I do like is it's got the BMW sort of finesse on the switchgear, and the screen's really nice, and you've got obviously all the LED headlights and stuff like that. It is a nice little plus to have. If I'm being completely honest, if I was going to go and walk into either BMW or Harley Davidson to buy myself a muscly cruiser like this, it would be Harley. It would be. I know there's a lot of bitter sort of taste in a lot of people's mouth for Harley, but bikes like this, they do an incredible job of. I probably would walk into BMW for a cross-continental tourer, but I think for this type of bike, the type of thing that makes you laugh, and you have a Sunday blast on and get off and your face aches from how much you've been laughing, I think Harley do a better job. For BMW's sort of first proper attempt at American style cruiser, I think this is hilariously brilliant, and it does make you feel very special when you're riding it. It is a pure experience to ride. There's like a whiny sound when you roll off as well. Can you hear that? I said to George before I went, I don't want to go down a really skanky muddy lane on this bike. This is the lane he brings me down. Cheers, George. Sorry BMW, your bike's going to be absolutely coated in crap. Literal crap. I wouldn't bring it down here by choice, but it's actually handled that completely fine. Talk about a bike you can get some good photos of. I hate it when people fly tip. Really pisses me off. One thing I will note, so once the side stand touches the floor, which is there, look how far it leans over. It's literally like BMW have taken that stand from Harley as well. Not gonna lie to you, I don't know what the price is. I think they're around like 16 to 17 grand if I remember rightly. I'll stick it on screen. This is the classic one, and they do a few other versions which have got like touring screens and whatever. I know Harley have done it with the Pan America as well, but this is such a direct shot at Harley. Anyway, I think my GoPros are about to die. Tell me what you think. What would you have? Would you have one of these, or would you opt for one of the Harleys? Pros and cons very quickly at the end then. Pros, the looks of it, the sound of it, the experience it is to ride, everything about that is just awesome. I like what BMW have done that made it proper heritage, even with the Berlin Built logo at the bottom of the screen. Just everything about it is very classic. I really like what they've done with it. The switchgear is very minimal. It's obviously got loads of torque, loads of grunt. The gearbox is nice and smooth too. Negatives, it vibrates like it should be sold in an adult toy store. The chrome isn't for me, but you can sort of change that. It would be nice if it had a fuel gauge, and the peg scraping so soon into a lean is a little bit off-putting, but I suppose you'll get used to that. Other than that, I mean, what a bike. What an absolute corking bike. Thank you very much for joining me, and thank you very much to Lind BMW and Welwyn Garden City. Lovely guys. Really happy to help out based on the fact that they're not going to be selling a bike. It's just me taking it for a ride. Thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Oh my god, this thing's quick. Really feels like it's trying to rip the surface off the earth. BMW make a good Harley, everyone. BMW make a very good Harley.